Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Innovation Conversation. Today we are joined by Maria Andrianova. Maria, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy to meet you, Ricardo, and thank you for having me here.
It's a pleasure having you here. Maria, would you like to introduce yourself to the audience, please?
As you mentioned, my name is Maria, and I'm a serial entrepreneur. I'm an angel investor, and I live in Dubai, the United Arab Emirates. I have been living here for more than 2 years, and I run like a small family fund that invests in different projects. Mainly, we love special cases. And also
Mhm.
we develop products. We have created like a small venture studio that helps cutting edge ideas to find their way to the markets. And
Mhm.
it is the thing that I personally love doing. I love connecting people. I love to find applications for great ideas. And actually, um, science and something new and exciting needs a lot of help to find its special product market fit. And when you
Mhm.
find that fit, it feels like nothing else. It is a sort of eternal happiness for me. Before coming to Dubai, I was a big corporate back in Russia. Had to move because of obviously the political situation. I was running investment vehicles. I was creating venture funds. I was creating corporate development program. I was very much involved in VC, in education, in science. I was teaching in best universities, a DBA program like Doctor for Business Administration. I was teaching corporate management, board of directors theory, pretty much the corporate stuff. And from big corporate, I shifted to entrepreneurship and investments.
So it's a very long journey you've been on. What was the main difference between doing things in Russia and now doing them in Dubai? Were there any difference in the way people invest and operate in the space?
If I want to be precise, I would say I can't compare because the overall situation in the world has changed so much.
Mm.
Because the whole world went through big transformation. First of all, of course, political situation, political crisis, changes in economics, then big movements of, I would say, tribes. The planet been through that so many times, and now we are again in this period of transformation, of shifting power. And well, of course, that AI story everyone is talking about, that artificial intelligence is
Mhm.
changing our lives so quickly, and the wide adoption of all those AI tools changes the shape of roles, the shape of business, and the shape of human interaction. So I would say that the overall situation has changed, so I can't comment really on that big difference. Well, of course, there is difference in culture, in national character, in a way of doing business, but I'm not sure if in this changing world
Hmm.
it would be scientifically correct to speak of that difference.
And in your journey as a VC, the startup you actually it's quite interesting because you're a VC and investor, but you also have your own startup. Correct me if I'm wrong on
Yeah.
this one, which actually focuses on analyzing the perfect candidate for the job. Can you tell me a bit more about that? Because that's actually something quite fascinating.
Yeah, it is a crown jewel. It is my favorite. And even though I do investment in this project, I'm engaged with my heart and soul because when I was almost 18, I
Hmm.
started at my first job and I figured out corporate environment is not exactly for me, maybe, that I need something else. That regular shape of roles is not where I fit in. And I actually felt there's a certain kind of misfit when I was going to school, when I was going to the university. I always wanted something more. And I always wanted to be engaged in, I would say, the activities that would be shaped by myself.
Hmm.
It is, I wouldn't call it as something good or bad. It's just It is just the specifics that I required. So my dream was to create an instrument that
Mm.
would help us make this perfect match between personalities and roles. And Neuroframe, it is the name of the tool that we developed with the strongest neuroscientists in the world. It is a tool of deep personality diagnostics. It is a game. You play it from 30 to 60 minutes on your mobile phone. The game is quite tricky. It will immerse you into simulation of a very high-loaded situation at work when you have to deal with different tasks simultaneously with different sorts of enemies, having different sorts of toolings in your hands. And there are over 100,000 marks installed in the game. And the game does not allow you to understand how to present yourself as someone nice
Mm.
because you will have to handle so many different situations in the game that it will provide a very truthful picture of who you actually are. The game assesses human personality across 8 basic verticals, 2 of them cognitive, your mental
Mm.
efficiency, that is basically how smart you are while solving tasks. Then your learning agility, that is how fast you learn. And then across 6 personality related verticals like openness to new, progress monitoring, risk appetite, if you're a gambler,
Mm-hmm.
then people function, if you are an agreeable person, then resilience. Just recently, I was, I would say, watching the video I made during Sam Altman's presentation last year at Hub
Mm-hmm.
71 in Abu Dhabi. He was himself in Abu Dhabi. What an energy of a person, and he's so amazing. And Sam was talking about resilience as a basic quality of entrepreneur. You
Mm.
can't go without it if you want to do a big thing and you want to do a thing that is highly loaded with science, that is innovative, that is new, and that needs to be, I would say, adjusted to market situations, different kinds of players. So it's a lot of work, and I'm feeling it myself because
Mm-hmm.
I am launching something new and innovative on the market. So I'm there myself. Luckily enough, I have very high resilience. So I
Mm-hmm.
got into entrepreneurship also because I've had my own tests and I understand I have that resilience. Also, ability to prevent your own errors. For example, when you deal with employees on a daily basis, sometimes there are personalities that tend to repeat the same mistakes over and over again. You tell them, okay, you have this mistake here, please don't do that again. And that person stumbles into it again and again and again.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of personality. With Neuroframe, we're aimed at finding best solutions and supports for different kinds of personalities because no one is perfect and no one is totally bad. There are
Mm-hmm.
just different roles and different personalities. For example, if a person has high mental efficiency, the best reward for such person is intense workplace. You need to give tasks to that engine.
Mm-hmm.
And for that engine, it is even more important than money. I've seen it so much. People are giving higher salaries or bonuses to the people with high mental efficiency, and they give them a promotion. And at a new role, the person doesn't have to work that intensely anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And you can look into the eyes of that person, and the light is fading because that person is not doing what he likes anymore.
Mm-hmm.
My dream is that every company would create certain personalized roles that would fit certain qualities of people so that those people would feel happy because it is such a big tragedy when a good person, highly skilled person, gets employed by a good company at a great position and that person becomes so, so unhappy at that position. It's a tragedy and I
Mm-hmm.
want to prevent that. And sometimes very small adjustments need to happen. For example, stop micromanaging a person that is highly confident.
Yes,
Or
I couldn't agree more with you on that one. I hate micromanagers.
exactly. And for some people, micromanagement is actually healthy because they love to interact. They want to feel constant human connection. And if
Hmm.
you take that highly agreeable person in a separate place, in a separate room, and some companies advertise this as an element of promotion, element of power. You get your own office with an
Hmm.
assistant, so you are somehow separated from the team. And highly agreeable person will lose its shine, will lose its, I would say, sparkle in such environment. So probably just keep that person in the human environment and you will make this person happy.
So, do you think your solution is actually helping out with mental health in the workplace? Because by making this small adaptation, I would assume you actually reduce the stress that people would have in their normal jobs, right? I mean, if you don't want to be
Absolutely.
micromanager and you do a test and it tells you, hey, this person is not to be micromanaged, they can actually deliver, but give those tiny tasks to someone else. So have you been given feedback saying how impactful it has been on people's life?
I'm receiving those commands so much because we provide to our clients the report that is limited by those 8 verticals that I described
Hmm.
to you. But the data that we collect is way, 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 way wider. And it has amazing cases of application in mental health
Hmm.
because obviously if a person has high level of cortisol, it cuts performance at mental efficiency level, at agreeableness level. Obviously people with childhood trauma, they tend to isolate, they tend to lash out in certain situations, and
Hmm.
we're also able to detect that and also include into our reports. Well, mental health application was not our primary goal, but
Hmm.
a lot of people are actually demanding us to go there. So I believe it is one of scenarios
Hmm.
that we could employ to expand the value of our game. So I totally agree with you. It has huge implications for mental health. And if you deal professionally with the so-called happiness at your
Hmm.
workplace, then you increase overall mental health for the whole society. Yeah.
No, it's something. Mental health for me, it's always been quite an important topic, and the more startups I talk to, the more investors I talk to, I realize that the ones who are going to make it are actually the ones who discuss it in the first place, right? The ones who actually sit down and say, "Hey, I'm having some mental health issues. My anxiety has peaked. I might be feeling a little bit depressed, and all those things." Having your solution, I think, really massively helps to identify what the possible, I guess, pain points that people are going to have in the future, isn't it? Because then you can say, you know what, they're going to run into this type of issues. Let's create an environment where they are minimized, or we can look out for them if they tend to happen. So I think it's going to make a huge difference in the market.
Yep, absolutely. And let's face it, every human being, especially if we're talking about highly efficient human being,
Hmm.
every human being has his own challenges, childish traumas. Well, thanks to our parents, they are brilliant and we're all grateful to them. But all of them are also, well, imperfect human beings that
Hmm.
probably were having kids for the first time in their life. And it's a huge challenge. And it is an overall thing in the society. And getting to know yourself better is a great way to actually make your life happier and to increase your impact. And with our game, we have to detect your personal patterns that define your, I would say, autopilot mode. Because no one of us is like 100% self-aware at every minute of our day. If you are 100% self-aware all of the time, wow, what a miserable life.
Yeah.
You're like probably very much stressed and
Hmm.
probably all of your energy goes into self-monitoring, which is painful, I would say. So with Neuroframe, we are able to detect the settings I would
Mm-hmm.
say the basic road for your autopilot, the basic settings, the default settings for your autopilot mode. That is what you do when you yourself are not watching.
And how hard was it to build this app? Because if you have so many different things that you can analyze, was it hard to build the game and all that, or how do you even get started with this?
Oh, well, it is just, I guess, a part of my destiny. Life never been easy for me. I never opt for easy solutions. It is just the way I'm wired. And it was extremely complicated. We've built a Lamborghini in terms of human assessment because over 20 years of experience of research data, of, say, deep studies of human nature, neuroscience, neurobiology, are integrated into Neuroframe. We've been building it for over a year
Mm-hmm.
altogether. So
Well,
it is a complicated product. It's a complicated engine because we are actually, I would say, nerds. We want to be precise. We want to be very much recognized also in the scientific world. So we build our engine with the purpose of deep recognition by the best minds in the industry. So our ambition is not only to sell the product obviously on the market, but also to get recognition as the creators of something innovative, something
mm.
true, something precise. So it's extremely complicated. There is nothing else compared to us on the market.
Was it hard for you to make that transition from a VC to a startup? Because it's not really the
Oh
other way
well,
around. So.
well, let's say it's quite logical because even as a VC, I never been in a passive position. And for numerous portfolios companies that I have, I usually use the word we. We, the Neosan, we, the clinic, it's a dental clinic that will have another dental clinic. We here, we there, and somehow, even as investor, I participate in business development of the projects that I'm advising, that I'm dealing with, that I'm investing, depending on the scenario. So for me, it was quite an organic shift. And also, I started my first business when I was 21. So I always been that, I would say, active, pain in the head, I would say. Not really corporate.
Hmm.
So for me, it was probably the easiest thing to do. As they say in Y Combinator, I used to do a startup not because of money, not because you can't do anything better. You do a startup just because it happens and you have to follow. So this is how it happened.
Now, this because you have such an interesting life story. How important do you think it is for people to follow their passions?
There is no universal advice because every personality is different.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people are quite happy doing what they do, and sometimes they are exactly where they want to be. Not everyone has an elevated level of energy. Not everyone has openness to new, and it's totally fine. So, in my opinion, it is deadly important to follow your passion and to find your identity and to find your individual recipe for success and a recipe for happiness. But I'm built this way. I'm a researcher, and that's a personality that needs to look for things, that needs to push for change, that needs to create that environment of to create that dynamics. I don't know why, but I just need to do that. Some people they are built otherwise, and they need something else, and it is great to have that variety.
How do you deal with the challenge? Because I'm always curious to find out more about the way different entrepreneurs kind of handle the many challenges they have when building something. So how do you personally deal with when you have challenges?
Well, of course, you approach that from different directions, and you need to be multidimensional. Well, it is my approach. In my opinion, it's how to be multidimensional. Of course, there is basics like health level. It really helps to run diagnostics, to run testing, and to go into biohacking. Well, I'm deeply into biohacking, and one of my projects is the chain of clinics that do IV therapy, such as like drip supplements. Of course, Andrew Huberman's YouTube channel is a great helper at that, and deep research on a deep understanding of your personal deficits, because deficits are always personal. It really helps. So dealing with your body in terms of lifestyle, in terms of physical activity, in terms of food, in terms of supplements, in terms of taking basic care of yourself, it is so important. And sometimes someone is saying, "Oh well, I have a depression," but then if he runs certain tests, there is a deficit. This person starts taking some vitamin B or whatever, and well, depression is gone. So first of all, it's that basic health level, then mental health, of course. I have a team of specialists that help me, and I'm so grateful to them. It is obviously therapists, coach, success coach, like energy coach. I have my doctor that is always in contact with me, and she's helping me shape my strategy in terms of keeping my body in a healthy mode. And also,
Hmm.
one of my projects is actually about deletion of aging and death from human life. I believe death and aging are two problems that are first inevitable, second urgent, third depressing. It's depressing to have aging and death. So why not deal with that? And modern science allows to do incredible things in terms of research, like developing new types of chemical compounds. The company is called Virsion,
Hmm.
and it is in the US. And the Virsion company is developing new kinds of chemical compounds to deal with incurable diseases and actuating the disease. So I'm very much bullish on disruptive models, disruptive changes, disruptive technologies in this area. Because, wow, stop doing Me Too molecules, stop doing the Me Too solutions.
Hmm.
Be disruptive. We need to kill death. This is what I say. Also, of course, it helps to become more and more self-aware, to be surrounded by the people that are of similar mindset. For example, I have a group of entrepreneurs that are very much at the same stage with me. We're like a very synchronized group, and we have a certain agreement between us when if someone of us wants to quit, he always has an option to call me or write to me and like, hey, I'm about to quit. And I'm like, okay, have you done this? Have you done that? Have you done this? Have you done that? And normally we find very easy, accessible, low-hanging fruit to solve
Hmm.
his or her situation. So, of course, network, your connections are a big help. And of course, experience. You build businesses, you build different projects, you travel, you create a certain your personalized collection of experiences that keep you alive. You build your personal core with your achievement, with who you actually are. You notice yourself doing so great, going so proudly and bravely through all those challenges. And at some point, you understand that human nature is like unbeatable. So,
I love that. I think you're the first guest I've ever had. I always enjoy asking this question because I actually get a lot from the question. I think the audience also gets a lot from the question. But you're the first guest I've had that actually gave a completely holistic view about how it's not just one thing. It's actually a combination of multiple things. And it starts from the basics, how your body is feeling, to how your mind is feeling, how your energy is, all those things, and how they combine, they actually give you a solution. Um, A follow up on that one is, where do you get inspiration from?
Well, my case is not easy. When I was 5, people would ask me, "Who you do you want to be?" And I'd say, "I would just want to be the richest person in the world." Kids would answer, I want to be a teacher, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a driver, I want to go to, well, I want to go to space, by the way, Elon, I'm here.
Like, that makes two of us.
Yeah, I definitely want to travel to Mars or whatever, but um, I just wanted to create an impact. Then I started reading. When I was 7, I started reading like heavy literature, scientific, whatsoever. So I was quite a strange kid, sometimes scary, but well, it is the way it is.
Mhm.
So I was deriving inspiration from books, from especially British and American writers of 19th-20th century that would describe the stories of entrepreneurs, of people of success, and how they were building their stamina. And I was inspired. Later on, I was so lucky to meet so many incredible people that were inspiring me with their successes, with their stories, in, including, and well, probably to in the first place, my father was able to launch a product of a local factory on international markets in the 90s, doing it alone. No one
Mhm.
told him he needs business development, he needs marketing, he needs all those people to
Mhm.
launch a specific product for a certain target audience on international market. So he just wrote a number of letters to American uniform company, to DuPont, to a number of international players asking, like, guys, what kind of products are missing in your portfolio? What would you buy? And those people, they just answered, and he just went to the production unit and told them, okay, guys, if we build this, we're going to sell it to those guys. And then
Love it. Yeah.
he visited the client and he was selling the stuff. No one told him it was impossible. So he was traveling all over the globe doing projects. It was kind of a very intense career path that I was watching like next to me. And he was always telling me like, you know what? If you want to do something, you just go and do it.
Mhm.
Just do it.
Love
And
it.
yeah. And he was telling me like, your capabilities are unlimited. And also it was supported by a number of people that I met and also my personal success. I had a very big financial success, well, in terms of where I started when I was 24, and it was from zero into a group of companies. So I experienced it myself. And after you feel this kind of success, this kind of achievement, you just won't accept something minor. You
Mm.
understand, okay, I have to do it, and I have to live that kind of life. Going back to that smart question of yours regarding how important it is to follow your passion. For some people, it is a matter of survival. And I've seen it so many times. And it is not, I would say, a secret. It is not something unknown that people get cancer even
Mm.
if they diminish their power and their personality. For example, I've seen it many times myself when some people were at a certain scale, a certain corporate position, and then they experienced that change when they got fired, or there was a change of circumstance, or their skills became irrelevant and they would start at a new position in a new company, or they would opt for something smaller. And for some of them, it's okay. But for so many, it can be a cause of severe illness, like cancer. There is the thing called like suicide,
Mhm.
but it is a very slow type of suicide people commit. So
Interesting.
it
And
can be like a matter of survival.
so, what tips and tricks would you give to someone for them to prevent, those type of scenarios from happening? but also to kind of guide them along the journey. And you mentioned a couple, which is, just go for it, just do it. But what else would you add to that?
Well, I would say create your own board of directors, your own personal board of directors. That is your team, the
Hmm.
people that you trust, the people that are supporting you. Create that group of people that are helping you thrive and rely on them. Accept your capabilities and your powers are limited. Accept that and embrace that and rely on other people. Ask for help, even like openly ask for help if you need that. Also, well, it's very important to be self-aware, to use the best achievements of best available science to support you, take care of your health, and build your own individual recipe for happiness. Think about your happiness. It's very, very important.
Thank you. Maria, if people want to reach out to you, how can they do so?
Well, my Instagram is lab lawyer, LAB, like laboratory, and lawyer, like lawyer, because
Mhm.
I have a legal background. What a mistake it was, but it's okay. Then, of course, on LinkedIn and also Neuroframe. We have our website, so please feel free to check this out. It's an amazing tool, and um, in my ideal world, every person would pass Neuroframe tests to know him or
Mhm.
herself better. Also for personal compatibility, because we're talking to a number of dating websites.
That's always
To
good.
simplify dating life, because the compatibility thing is so important, especially nowadays when
Hmm.
people are the scenarios, the family scenarios are changing, people are changing. So it is
Yeah,
also so important to find the right partner and to
I
rely on
agree.
that partner.
It's hard to find the right match, isn't it? It's a it's a tricky scenario.
Absolutely,
All right,
absolutely. Like anywhere, in any area of life.
Maria, thank you so much for your time. I really enjoyed the conversation.
Thank you, thank you. It was enjoyable. Have a great day.
Thank you.